Hey guys, Terry here. It's a rainy day in Ohio today, and I thought I would make this card. I saw a sketch of this set here. This is Stampin' Up! Again, it's 3 or 4 years old. It's called You've Got This. It's got a beautiful flower on it, and I like the saying, "You've got this." And then I also have a Close to My Heart stamp set. This one's called Distressed Backgrounds Flair. Again, these are old stamps. I'm going through my stash and getting stuff out that I haven't played with before. I thought that I would use this one here as kind of a hash mark background. Put that on the background. And then I thought I would cut this flower out on my brother and pop it up on the card. So I was going to show that. So let's stamp the flower first. I've got my VersaFine Onyx Black ink, and I need to take the pad out on my Misty, and got my white cardstock. I'm just going to stamp this on here. Again, this is the old style of stamp here, so I always put a little adhesive on here to hold it on to the Misty door. I think you could wet it too to make it stick to the blocks. But I'm going to do this, and then I need my clear embossing powder. And then I think what I'll do is color it with my Stampin' Blends. But let's first get it cut on the Brother Scan and Cut. I get asked this a lot, what the Brother Scan and Cut will help with. And I want to show that really, for the dies that just cut out around the shape, you don't need to buy those dies, because the Brother Scan and Cut can do that. So I'm putting on the embossing powder. Like the embossing powder, it just adds a little just raises up that ink and adds a little bit to it. I think last time I didn't show the heat tool. It's just your basic embossing heat tool, nothing fancy about it. I think there's a Wagner one that has heat settings, but I bought this one years ago and it has worked. Okay, so now you can see it's just made it a little bit shiny, a little bit raised up, so I just like that look. So now we're going to go over to the Brother Scan and Cut. Oh, there's one thing I want to do. Let me get my marker. I'm just going to take a Sharpie marker, and notice how this stamp at the bottom is not closed. You need to have a closed image for the Brother Scan and Cut to scan around that. Okay, let me take you over to this Brother Scan and Cut. Okay, we're over here at my Brother Scan and Cut. I'm going to press Scan, Direct Cut. I'm just picking the machine. It doesn't really matter what you pick here. And then I'm telling it that it's in black and white. I'm going to load the mat. And then I'm going to hit start. Okay. So now if you'll see on the screen, It's recognizing. And it has the image right there. So I'll hit OK. And then I am just going to size this so it's down onto the flower. And then this little symbol here where it's got the two little circles, you can tell it to add a distance around there. So I'm going to cut 0.04 around the flower, and that'll just put like 1/8 of an inch around the flower when it cuts it. Hit OK, and now I'm going to tell it to cut. Checking my blade. I'm going to put it on 4 because this is kind of heavy cardstock, and tell it to cut. Let's start. This is the easy way to fussy cut. Okay. Unload the mat. And here we have our perfectly cut out flower. Isn't that beautiful? Now, I could have colored it before I took it out of there, but I just wanted to show you that that cut beautifully. Now, if we hadn't put that little line at the bottom, when you scanned it, it might not have, it would have tried to travel inside the flower and the shape would not have been like this. So what I've noticed is that outline has to be completely solid. Okay, so let's go assemble the card. Okay, we're back over here. Wipe off my stamp real quickly. And let's do the background stamp. And I have not used this before. Let's try this background stamp. Okay, I think I'm going to wipe it off because it's the first time I'm using it. The sketch that I have from Pinterest just showed a nice background hash image on the back. So I thought that was really cool looking. It's bigger than my piece of paper, so how do I want to do this? I think I'm just going to do, you know what, I might put it on a block. I'm going to get my block out. Let's see here. One big enough? No. This one. Okay, what I have is this ruler. I'm going to put it on here. I just want to do this on a flat surface, not in the misty. Let's try this out here. And I want to do a faint color, so let's do something really light. Might stamp off. Pumpkin pie. Let's do pumpkin pie and we'll stamp it off. Let's see what this looks like. Press. Maybe that's a good reason to use the Misty. Well, let's see what we get. It's really not too dark. I think I'll go like this. I just basically want to put a splattering on it. I don't know why the stamp is so long. I would like that it was shorter. I'm just trying to put something on the background. I'm not loving that. Let me try a different stamp. Alright, I got a background stamp. I thought this would be pretty. So let's try this. I like this color. When you have a big background stamp like this, it's nice to apply the ink to it. And then the same with the paper. So put this on here and then take something and push it onto there. Okay. Oh, that looks really good. Okay, that's kind of what I was going for. So we just want something on the background, and then we're going to ink this up and pop it up with pop dots. And then I think, what else can we do? Oh, we can mat it. Let's mat it with a color too. So let me find in my scraps something orange. Hang on. I've got my scraps here cut down to, that kind of looks good. Ooh, this one looks really good. There we go. I have to watch because sometimes I try to make stuff too matchy-matchy. It would be good to have a contrasting color on there. Okay, let's cut this down. We can also, maybe we'll stamp our word on here. Let's put our word down here in black. I like both these. I'm here for you. Good things are going to happen. So really all of these. Maybe we'll do that and then this on the inside. These days it seems like all stamp sets are so inspiring. It's really easy to pick a set. Okay, so I'm going to use my Misty for this. I'm going to trim this down. So if you remember, our card base is going to be 5.5 by 4 1/4. The border color is going to be 5 1/4 by 4. And then this piece is going to be 5 by 3 1/4. So let's trim those down. I've got my guillotine trimmer here. This one will be 4, which I've cut these by 4 by 6 is what I cut my scraps down to. So we do this at 5 1/4. And that will fit on the card front perfectly. And then we'll trim this one down to 3 3/4 by 5. There we go. I've tried to put links to that guillotine cutter that Ranger makes. They've got the 12-inch one, they don't have the little 6-inch one. So, okay, so let's put this in here. And I still don't need the pad for the Misty because the stamps are thick. Let's see, maybe we'll put it over here. Put it on this side. Let's see if that sticks to the door. Oh, it's sticking pretty good. And black ink. Okay. I might emboss this too. Huh? What do you think? I think once you start embossing it, it just adds so much to it, so then it's hard to leave it plain. I let the tool heat up for a little bit before I bring it to the paper. Helps a little bit with the warping. So it just makes that pop so good. There we go. So you've got this. And wipe off our stamp. This is a stamp chamois. I used to use the Stampin' Up! Sponge thing, and that works good too. Both ways work. Okay, so we've got this. Let's glue it onto there, and then let's color the flower here. Let me get my blends. Okay, I'm looking to see if I have pumpkin pie. I have poppy. We can use these ones. I thought I had pumpkin pie. I also have Copics. I don't have very many of them, but let's see. Calypso Coral. I don't have, maybe they didn't. Oh, pumpkin pie is probably an old color. So this one will work. Oh, I should have gotten green out too. This is the light one. This is the dark. Coloring is nice and relaxing. The rain is falling outside, so this is a good way to relax. I'm just kind of quickly coloring. The blends are an alcohol-based ink. People ask what's the difference between markers and alcohol. And the alcohol just lets you blend. A marker would show the marks, and this just kind of blends out. So you don't see any lines. And the idea is that you get markers that are close in color. And then you could put the shading in. I'm no expert at it. I think it's just pretty when it has, you know, a little variance in the color. Get the green out. This green will do. They say to use the artist kind of puts where the dark should be. So I'm putting this all in light, and then I'll take the dark and kind of draw where the lines of the stamps are. I think you're supposed to take more time when doing this, but with the camera rolling, I will just do a quick job of this. It's just supposed to add a little color to it. you put the light on, the dark on, and then blend out, just so you don't see any lines. It just adds a little color to it. Now there is, I went outside the lines a little bit here. So there's a color lifter. This is my Copic one. There's also one for Stampin' Up. But it just works like a bleach. It's bleaching out that color around the edge. And they always look wet, but then once it dries. And then let's do something in the middle here. What color should we do in the middle? I think I'll just take like a gray marker. Fit these in. That works. Okay, so now we'll pop this up here. Let's assemble the card. Get my glue. Pop dots and glue. I think this turned out good. Oh, we didn't stamp the inside sentiment. Let's get this together and then we'll put the inside together. So hopefully my videos are showing you that it does not take, cards always look like they take a lot, but by the time you put a little bit of color on the background and something, an image, you can even use ephemera. Maybe tomorrow I'll use, instead of stamps, I'll use just ephemera, the little fun cutouts, because let's put something down on this one. Scissors. It really doesn't take much to put on the card. I mean, it's all about the sentiment you put on it and maybe the personal message that you write on the inside. And I think these days, at least what I'm trying to do is make a card. I've always made cards. I don't always send them, so I am trying to be good at sending out cards. I just think it's a nice sentiment these days. So if you know somebody and you're thinking about them, it's nice to pop a card over to them. Let's stamp the inside here. So I'm just going to put this message on the inside. If that wouldn't stick, you could either dampen it with the chamois or put a touch of tape runner on it. And I just let that touch the paper for a minute, and it looks really good. I really like this VersaFine black ink because it's so bold. Okay, I think we're almost done. I got this. I was trying to make sure I don't have ink on my hands when I'm touching my card. And then let's glue this on. So if you haven't watched my video about how to have some cardstock on hand for cards, I'll put a link on my website. Okay, I think it turned out great. Look at that. You've got this. Good things are going to happen. I think it's really pretty. It looks a lot like the sketch that I saw. It had a background. It had some ribbon around it. I could have put some thread or something around it, but I think this is all it needed. But I like it. So from the video, I have a link to my website, and it'll have all the different products that I use here in case you need anything. And thank you guys. If you haven't, subscribe so we can stay in touch, and I will talk to you guys later. Thanks.